So this happened. So I ended up breaking my hand, the fourth metacarpal for you anatomy and physiology people, and they call it the boxer's break. So I'm super bummed that it happened, especially the timing that it happened, because I've been climbing really strong and feeling really good. So how this happened was I was moonboarding and I was on this hold with my right hand and I was going up towards the top, and on the way up I smacked this hold. For those of you that are moonboarders, you're probably familiar with hold number 137, this black one right here. It sticks out quite a bit, and usually it's my elbow that ends up smashing up against it, but my fist ended up hitting it, and it's kind of like a boxer punching something, so it snapped my metacarpal. It was weird. I literally heard the sound of the snap. I felt the crunchiness and the wiggliness when I was moving my hand, so I knew instantly it was broken. That's only kind of what this video is about. This video is about getting revenge. And so right now this just happened, but after this heals, I'm gonna get revenge on this hold. So it's now about 3 weeks post-injury, and when I went to the doctor, they got rid of that splint and they gave me this kind of portable cast thing. So it's molded to my hand, but it's got these straps. So one of the positives of this also is when I'm just sitting around and not in risk of banging it into something, I do have permission to take off the cast. And so when I do, I can kind of move my hand fairly decent. And so that'll be nice that the recovery won't maybe be so hard, and potentially I won't be so stiff starting off. So I'm starting to feel good. I think I have about maybe a week left of this. Then I'm going to take that off and I'm going to start slowly working back into weight bearing and gripping and things like that. I feel like I've been able to kind of do some gripping to keep my forearms with these 3 fingers, but obviously it's going to feel different. Also, one other thing about the break is the way that the bones were slightly displaced. They kind of had a little bit of an overlap, so actually that bone is going to be slightly shorter than it used to be, and shorter than the ring finger on my left hand, and so that's going to probably take some getting used to, but it's straight. The doctor assures me that it's straight, and so it's just a matter of different feeling. And I've already noticed that typing on my computer, that it's just feels different, like the curve of my finger feels different. So I've been trying to look for the silver lining in all of this, because obviously it is pretty frustrating. I've been climbing so well and feeling so strong. I had some really big goals for this season that when this injury hit, I was, pretty disappointed, thinking that maybe they wouldn't happen. And then obviously, I was pleased to hear that it was only a broken bone, and broken bones heal faster than tendons and ligaments, and so there is a little bit of that. I've been due for a rest week anyway, so that minimizes one of the weeks that I've been out. Other couple things, I've been feeling a little tweaky in my shoulder, so just resting that a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on in that. It just feels like clicking, and so hoping that some of this time off will help with that as well. Also, one of the other silver linings is I want to be able to work on a couple other aspects that might help out, and that is flexibility / mobility, and just kind of feeling that my joints are a little bit more fluid, as well as a little bit of body composition. Not a ton, like I don't think I'm fat by any means, but just a little bit of the unnecessary pudge, and just kind of transitioning that body composition a little bit off of the body fat and into the muscle. I don't want to necessarily lose weight particularly, but I want to just kind of convert where that weight is being held. Now, admittedly, I'm not very far on those two processes. I haven't really been working flexibility too much, and I haven't really been, going out and doing cardio or anything like that. And finally, one more silver lining is this. One way that I'm going to ease into the, hand manipulation is I'm going to work on a project that uses my hands. I'm pretty excited about this project. So basically, I've been done with this climbing wall here. I've got the vert wall here, I got the MoonBoard here, and then I've got the 20-degree wall here. A little bit story behind this project is that We have a one-car garage, as you've seen in my build videos, and we were looking at buying a shed that we were going to use for like lawnmowers and other equipment and just storage and things like that. So originally our plan was to park one of our cars in there, but we found that we haven't really needed to. We made it through the whole winter, and so we actually have plans here to take our driveway and expand it over here. We took out a big pine tree here, and we're gonna just expand a driveway. So what does that mean for us in this project is that we are not going to buy a shed. And what we're gonna do is just use the remaining part of this garage as a shed. But it's plenty of room. And so this is a perfect excuse to build more climbing wall. And I'll tell you what, the expansion bug is a real thing. And so after about 6 months of having the wall the way it is, we're actually gonna already expand. And so I have plans now down here from the ninja wall coming down towards the front of the garage to build a 30-degree wall. One of the reasons I'm actually really excited about it is because I really like my ninja wall here, but basically this whole right side here is not really used very much. And so having that 30-degree wall come up to the base of that ninja wall, and then I can continue up that head wall, and that's going to add quite a bit of square footage. That expansion is going to be a whole another set of videos, but I just wanted to give you that little snippet on that's part of my recovery, is I'm going to build more climbing wall. So a little bit earlier I mentioned that I have plans for getting revenge on that hold 137. And my plan is to do a bunch of MoonBoard routes that use that hold. So, and then obviously the revenge is to complete the V5 that I was doing and I was about to send when I banged my hand against that hold. So the ultimate revenge is going to be completing that route, but before I do that, or as I work my way up, I'm going to do a bunch of routes that use this hold. So in the meantime, I'm going to get working on flexibility. I'm going to get working on a little bit of trimmage and body composition, and then slowly work back into weighting this hand after about 1 more week when I can take this off permanently. It's now been a couple months since I broke my hand. I've since been back to the doctor and I have the approval to ditch this, as well as I have started to climb again. So initially I just started kind of doing really juggy routes just kind of to ease back in, but I've since started to climb harder. I've been on some rope routes in the 512 range, which is kind of where I feel like I was at before. I've also been moonboarding with my friend Jack, both here and at his wall, and so I'm starting to feel pretty good. I've had a little bit of tenderness the first few sessions back, but not really anymore. I will show you that you can see that this knuckle right here is lower than the other knuckle, and my finger is actually shorter than the other ring finger in comparison to the middle finger. So the way that the bone healed, it overlapped slightly, and so that finger is actually slightly shorter than it was before, which is kind of weird, but I don't really feel any pain anymore, and so I'm ready to get back into this revenge for this injury. And how we're going to start the revenge is we're going to be opening up the MoonBoard app, and we're going to be doing a bunch of V4 problems that use this hold. So instead of going over it and around it, I'm going to defeat a bunch of climbs that use that hold. So let's go ahead and fire up the MoonBoard and the MoonBoard app, and we'll get this started. So I've got the app fired up here, and I'll put that on screen as well. And how this works is there is this button in the upper right hand corner, looks like a bunch of dots. When you click on that, it shows you your layout, and then what you can do is you can long press on any of the holds and it'll put this pink circle around it. How that'll work is it'll take the 52,000 something routes that were in this setup, and it filters it down to only show the routes that incorporate this hold. And you can do multiple holds too, so that's a pretty cool feature of the MoonBoard app, in case you didn't know that. So then I'll hit the back arrow, and now I'm down to 3,142 routes from V4 to V14. I'm not ready for V14, so then what I'll do is I'll hit the little filter funnel icon in the upper right hand corner, and then I'll filter down to V4s and V5s. And now I'm down to 1926, and that's my list of routes that I can work with. One other thing I'm going to do now that I look at this list is I see some routes that have like 0 stars, nobody's repeated it, and so I'm not really going to waste my time trying to figure out if these are real legit routes, because sometimes people just throw a V4 on there and it's not really V4. So I'm also going to go back to the filter, and I'm also going to sort by most repeats. And now when I go back to the back arrow, I've got a list that starts with a lot of benchmarks because they've been repeated a lot because everybody loves their MoonBoard benchmarks. As you can see, the top 3 on this list I've actually already completed because it has the little moon symbol, the black moon symbol, that indicates that I've marked it as I've completed it. But I'm okay with doing those over, so I'm just going to start at the top of this list. It looks like Kala is the first one on the list, so I'm going to fire that up. So now you can see that this is the route, but it's not yet up on my LED system, so I just hit the little light bulb down in the bottom right corner, and it's going to find my board, and voila. I am going to do a little bit of a warm-up over on the 20-degree wall before I jump right on the MoonBoard, but we're ready to roll on Revenge. So this is one part of my endurance weave. You may have seen that in a previous video. If not, go ahead and check it out up here. Technically my endurance weave actually goes all up and down this 20-degree wall. It scans across that top of the MoonBoard. It works through this section of vertical for a little bit, and then it actually now continues on my new 30-degree wall. So I'll probably have to do an updated video on the endurance weave because it is now 50 hand moves in one direction, 50 hand moves the other direction. It's pretty epic. Not going to do the whole thing because this is not an endurance session, but I do want to get a good warm-up. Now that I've done a few of the juggier ones, I'm going to do a couple of routes here on the 20-degree wall that are a little bit more crimpier and kind of warm up the tendons a little bit as well. So that's probably the crimpiest route on this wall, and that is the King route, which is on my stamina tree, my new and improved stamina tree here on headquarters number 5. So yeah, feeling pretty good. So I think it's time to start getting into some of these easier problems on the MoonBoard. There's our nemesis right there. Whew. I said easier ones. That was the first one on the list, but it was pretty tough actually. So that was Kala, and I previously flashed that, but I did it again. So now we're just going to swipe to the right and go to the next route in there as well. This one's called V4 Gumby. Yeah, that one felt quite a bit easier than the previous. In between routes, I'm just kind of sitting in my lawn chair here in the corner of the room because because it is an entire climbing room now, and I'm just logging them. So another cool feature about the MoonBoard app is that you can log your climbs, and I have logged this one before. As I can see, I've flashed it before, but what I'm doing now is I'm logging them. So how you log them is you just click the little plus button down on the bottom, and then that plus button is basically adding, and you can add to a logbook or add to a list. So I'll click add to logbook, and then you just fill in all the information like how many tries. So I'm going to say I flashed it again and give it a star rating. I really like that one. I'll give it 4 out of 5. And then what grade? I'll say that's V4 still. And then I'm adding in and then for fun, and if you guys want to follow along in the Moon app, I'm adding a comment that says my revenge. So this would be revenge number 2. I'm curious if you discovered this video from that comment. My little plug for my channel on the comment. So the next one is called You Get a Car, which maybe means everybody gets to send this one. Kind of like the Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Maybe everybody gets to send this. I don't know. It looks long and windy. Starting down here and coming all the way around and winding back up. Ooh, I like that one. That was pretty cool. Got a little heel hook on the bottom. Cool, funky moves. I like it. That one will get 5 stars. This next one is called Han's Way to Hell, and it looks quite a bit tougher. It looks like big, long, dynamic moves, like jumpy moves, which is kind of my anti-style. So, not sure I will even accomplish this, let alone flash it. But the fact that I've been flashing those other ones and post-injury is, I'm pretty pleased with that. So V4, even though that's the lowest it goes on the 2016 setup, V4 on the MoonBoard is no slouch for sure. At least not for where I was before. So this one here is a bit my anti-style right now. So doesn't mean I won't try it. It just means that we're going to give it a go and see. Maybe give it a few tries and then move on if I can't do it. So all I get is the start hold, this black one, the Nemesis hold, and then all the way up to that black finish hold. So pretty sure this is going to be some kind of jump move here. Maybe a heel hook from there, or get a toe up to here, but that's pretty high for me. We'll see. Alrighty, that's really high. That hand-foot match on the start hold. Whew. One positive thing that I've noticed from this injury here, or recovering from this injury, is I feel like I haven't really lost a ton of strength, like finger strength, things like that. Now that I don't have pain and it's healed, like I feel like I retain most of my finger strength. What I feel like I have the most loss on is obviously endurance. Been out rope climbing a couple times and just getting smoked on my endurance, which wasn't good to begin with, but like that's something I really want to work on, obviously. And then the other thing, after taking 8 weeks off, basically no climbing for 8 weeks, is my skin. I feel like I have baby skin again. Alright, I'm probably going to give this one more legit try here and then move on if I can't get it. Oh, yeah. That one's meant for another day. And this one is some Chinese or Japanese characters that I can't really read. And the number 2, a V4. Yeah, this one looks pretty cool. This here though does look like a big move. Big move to the Nemesis hold. And then the other thing that makes this one look tough is no feet for the finish hold. No feet underneath you. Wow, that one feels tough. What makes this one tough for me is I have a little bit of a tender knee here. So I'm probably being a little bit ginger with the pulling with my foot. Closer that time. Kind of touch the lip of it. I'll give it a little rest and I'll give that one more go as well. Yeah, that one will go eventually, I think, especially when I can pull a little bit more, get a little bit more drive with that knee. I'm not worried about ticking off every different problem, so I'm going to let that one go, swipe to the next V4. With that one though, I am going to click the plus sign again. Instead of adding to the logbook, I'm going to add it to a list. And I have a list here called the 2016 to-do problems, so I'm just going to click on that. And that added that to a to-do list that I can come back to later. So I'd like to do that with problems that I really liked, and so far I like that one. I think that'll be fun once I can get that big move.